There's no Mkwanazi, so the defence might be a little thin for the Bidvest side. We'll get to that once the match gets underway. I think Bidvest Wits have enough in attack that they can try and push Cape Town City. Underway at the Bidvest Stadium in Johannesburg. It's good to be with you on a Friday night on your World of Champion. Thanks for joining us alongside of the coolest cat in town, William Shongwe. And William, we can expect, I think, a lot of pressure to come from the Cape Town City side, and quite early as well.
Indeed, obviously, depending on how high does Bidvest hold their defensive line, for me it will be the big question, because from what we've seen in the past is City have used the pace, because most of the teams, they do hold a very high line, so it's always a great opportunity to play the ball overhead to find the very speedy Ngoma.
We'll see how it all pans out, because immediately it is the Cape side who have a corner kick. Our mind goes back to the last corner kick. We were on air with William Shongwe. Final almost kick of the game up in Limpopo on Wednesday night, and you know what happened there. I don't think it's going to happen here tonight in its early stages. The header going over the crossbar, and a goal kick signalled by referee Nzantek. If you're wondering what we're rattling on about and you missed the game of Baroka against Orlando Pirates, well, just go onto YouTube and look for Oscarine Masoluke. William Shongwe gave him a belt, or almost a case of belts really, but the man deserved it. What a moment, William Shongwe. And here we are back on air once again.
Incredible. Very exciting moments. You know, things happen, sometimes you don't realize the impact up until maybe a few hours later, just to see how well appreciated did Oscar's goal, which went viral, of course, in all the social medias. Fantastic. That, unfortunately, doesn't happen every day, Rocky.
No, it certainly doesn't. And I think we're in for a lot of very entertaining football this evening. Whether we'll have some high drama, one can only wait to see how that all pans out. You know, for me, it's absolutely wonderful to see the tributes that have come through for that unfortunate Brazilian side. Chaperoquense, who lost 22 players in that plane accident going to the Copa Sudamericana final in Colombia. And it's incredible for me, because two Colombian sides have made the final of the Copa Sudamericana in the past 2 years. Last year it was Independiente Santa Fe, this year Atletico. And Independiente Santa Fe have already donated their trophy to Chaperoquense. And in Atletico, because there won't be a final now, so they'll be automatic winners, have said that they will donate their trophy to Chaperoquense as well. And you're seeing all sorts of tributes coming from around the world. I think even Ronaldo said, not Cristiano Ronaldo, but the Brazilian Ronaldo with the teeth, said that he was going to play for them. And there's a lot of Brazilian sides that have donated players to that Brazilian side so they can continue playing football. It's amazing. The rally around has been amazing.
You know, the football community obviously has responded in an unbelievable fashion all around the world, and basically just going on to emphasize that we're one family. The world is just one big family, and this for me was just one example by which the world responded in proving exactly that, and just how this game of football continues to unite the world.
Elias Palembe trying to get the ball away from Robin Johannes. I think Robin Johannes did a great job there, and he's been with KwaZulu-Natal clubs in the last little while. Montfort Golden Arrows, AmaZulu, as well as Maritzburg United. But there is a corner kick for the home side, so one corner kick apiece so far in the opening 4 minutes of the match. Flick away from in front of Shoaib Walters. I'm quite surprised with Shoaib Walters. That's twice now the ball's gone into the penalty area. Twice he's been, by the look of things, a little indecisive. It's quite interesting to see whether that's by plan or whether he's got full faith in the defence in front of him. Tato Makeke's in there, Tamsamkan Kize, the Ghanaian, Joseph Adjei. He's just 21 years old, given an opportunity alongside of Robin Johannes. But he's a big boy, he's Adjei.
Only 22 years, and obviously here he's getting the nod ahead of Gumede, who's been a regular since the beginning of the season for Cape Town City. Question, or should I say, the reason to that is very simple. If you're going to be playing against an Eliezer Rogers, who's got some height about him, and balls are going to be played into the box, you need an excellent header of the ball, and Adjei is just one such boy that really has been unbelievable.
Palembe trying to tease the defence, lays it back to Siboniso Gatka. Not one of his best moments in football. Nice to see Siboniso Gatka having, well, I'm not sure if he's resolved all of the issues that he had at Yamakosi Kaizer Chiefs, but he's getting game time. Made his debut against the SuperSport United in that 2-0 loss. He's a quality player, he's a national player.
He might not have the legs that he had, what, 4 seasons ago, but let me tell you, he's got the experience. Tactically, he's going to give Bidvest exactly what they need, and also it just helps freshen up the team a little bit with a little bit of depth and options to the coach.
Robin Johannes plays it back to Shuai Walters, one of the many players that were at Aces and moved down to Cape Town. Originally from Cape Town, where he started his career at Vasco da Gama. And already 3 corners at the start of the encounter. There is Siboniso Gatka, 32 years old these days. As you say, it has had a couple of injury problems, but he looks quite sprightly this evening.
We still have to see, of course, how is he going to be able to deal with the pace of Ngoma. He is a player that likes to push forward at given moments, but I don't think he's going to do that much, because if he thinks about Ngoma's speed.
Darren Keats almost loses the ball there, and there were Cape Town City players around him, and Robin Johannes just about getting a boot in on the 27-year-old. Another man who started his career at Vasco da Gama and then played at Wits, went to Kortrijk in the Netherlands, and is keeping Monique Josephs out of the team. In fact, Monique Josephs not even on the bench tonight, because another Cape Townian who played at Vasco da Gama, Kyle Peters, played recently with Cape Town All-Stars, been signed by Bidvest Wits during the start of the season. 23-year-old is the bench goalkeeper tonight. There is the Australian Matthew Sim, 28-year-old. 1 goal in league, 1 goal in cup action. Just how much are Cape Town City going to miss Leflohonolo Majoro tonight?
In a big way, and you'd have thought maybe the option is for Messina to play right on top of the formation as a striker. He's got a real presence about him, but Cape Town City have looked at an opportunity to use Messina as a wide player, because they'll hang balls high where he can maybe have or gain advantage over Zulu, who's not the biggest of players in defense as a left fullback. So meaning that definitely there's going to be opportunity where Messina will get that ball into the box where Manyama will look to profit.
You've got Manyama playing as a front man, Matthew Sim with a free roll behind him potentially, and then the width of Ngoma and Sibisiso Masima, and then Roland Puche, the Austrian defensive midfielder, who's incidentally on 3 yellow cards tonight, so he needs to be a bit cautious, otherwise he might miss out on the match against Platinum Stars in 10 days' time. Easy pickings for Shoaib Walters this time. Here is Puche. Tamsankam Kize, Maritzburg United player. Oh, what a lovely little player he is as well, because at Maritzburg United he really shone like a star and been thrown into the limelight really with a side that's top of the table, and I think it's going to be really good for his career. Kato Makeke with a delivery, catches Manyama offside, and he was hoping that the ball would be played a little quicker. The captain of Cape Town City.
Yes, I think that's what he's trying to say here. From the time that he let go of his position to try and play on the front foot, and from the time that the ball was played, there was a few seconds delay, and that's how it was caught offside.
He's played in a number of different positions as Tato Makeke, because he's played as almost like a holding midfielder sort of role as well. He's been prior clubs. I mean, Tato Makeke has been with Ajax Cape Town. He went to SuperSport United, where he was utilised in the centre of defence. So he's playing as a fullback. He can play holding midfield. He's quite versatile. Nice guy to have in the team too, I think. Robin Johannes trying to track behind Elias Palembe. Even at the age of 33 years old, he's got a lot of pace. Shakes off the former KwaZulu-Natal based central defender. I don't think Robin Johannes will be too happy with that, but he's a hell of a nice bloke, Robin Johannes. Had a good chat with him before we came upstairs. He's always willing to have a chat, but he's a very, very determined central defender, is the 30-year-old. Inside from Sibiriso Gatka.
Another player that has travelled quite a bit as far as finding team, and has been given a new lease of life here at Cape Town City, and I think he's taken the opportunity as Shoaib Walters makes easy pickings once again. The ball played a little bit too close to him.
Sibisiso Messina looking to use his pace. He did such great work. And a Mpumalanga Black Aces. The nice ball as well out wide to Manyama. Manyama looking to cut inside. There's absolutely nobody there. Because I think what happened was that Aubrey Ngoma almost followed the ball. So did Messina. So there was nobody really in the pocket as an attacking midfielder. Maybe Sim should have been there. But these sort of things happen. It's a bit of it's a live aspect. It's a football match. 10 minutes in, no score at the Bidvest Stadium. Actually, there was one national first division match this afternoon down in the Mother City. Cape Town All Stars, coached by the former Rocker Swallows goalkeeper, former Nigerian international Gregor Tafia, picking up a first victory under his mentorship. They beat the NFP rookies with a Stoffels goal. Real Kings, I'm talking about, by 1-0 for their second win of the season. Inside here, dangerous ball to the back post by Gatka. That's the benefit of him. So he cuts inside the winger and creates that space inside the defence, and a little bit of nervousness for Cape Town City. That was a lovely move by the former Chiefs man.
But it looks like there was lack of anticipation from the rest of players who were supposed to attack that box with pace. Somehow that ball just went past, rolled past the face of goal with nobody attacking it, which Gavin Hunt would not be happy about. If the ball is played into the wide areas, you gotta expect at least that it will at some stage be played inside. So one or two players should be in a position to get in on the front foot and make contact.
Absolutely. Nice to see Dane Clayt wearing the captain's armband. He hasn't quite set the scene alight as he did last season as far as goals are concerned. He's just got the one goal so far, has the Dane Clayt in the cup competition. Away here by Tata Makeke. Forward by Mpomati, the former Tucks man. Now Manyama feeds off Sim. Looking for a return ball. Trying to go through the legs as well of Nazir Ali, former Ajax defender. Nazir Ali, I thought did particularly well. But look at Tata Makeke. There's a good chance here as well for Aubrey Ngoma. Somebody at the back post. Yes! Butcher grabs his first goal for Cape Town City. His first goal in South Africa in the league. He has scored in cup competition. Cape Town City.
Well, it's
an early lead.
It's incredible, and how they find the combinations from very tight position. Manyama and Ngoma combining, but it's the composure of Ngoma, who also had a chance to maybe to go for glory himself, but took his time and just lobbed that ball to a perfectly positioned Puche. Not picked up. I think Clayton maybe failed to judge the pace of the ball, and he sliced it beautifully nice and low to beat Darren Kidd.
On the volley, beautiful strike from the 25-year-old Puche.
I guess, in fact, it's not Clay that failed to judge the flutter of the ball. It's Zulu, who's the left full back.
Cape Town City, after 13 minutes of play, lead by 1-0. It's the perfect start for Eric Tinkler.
Well, you got to give it to Manyama. For me, in how the moment there for him to could have been, because he was in a great position to maybe possibly pull the trigger himself, but he looked for combinations to the already running forward Ngoma, who also was unbelievably calm to wait for the right moment to lob that ball over.
One of the things that we spoke about before the match got underway, and that was that the defence of Bidvest Wits might be a little bit porous tonight because they are missing so many defenders tonight, and that showed clearly their Penchi Zulu pushing up a little bit too high, even though the ball came in from the left-hand side. And what a wonderful finish from the holding midfielder Puche, who scored against Free State Stars in that 4-1 demolition in the Telkom knockout semi-finals. Manyama, Puche, Matsian and Ngoma all grabbing goals there, but Cape Town City couldn't have hoped for a better start, William.
Maybe already in Eric Tinkler's mind is we've seen this team create a lot of chances. He might be happy that they haven't created much already, but with the first few moments that they've been on the front foot in the attacking third, they've already got a goal. And he would look to help this team to maybe take more chances of this nature. they tend to fluff a whole lot of chances created, which later becomes a problem.
So the pressure on Gavin Hunt's side. They certainly will be able to fight back, I'm sure. Puche being knocked over in the middle of the park by Tabang Munare, one of a couple of former Cosmos players that are in the starting lineup for Bidvest Wits today. The other is Penchi Zulu. A couple of other players here. Bongo Klapo's on the bench. He's another man who came from Jomo Cosmos's camp.
Maybe Penche getting the opportunity to be in that starting lineup because Klanti was suspended. But he's an exciting youngster, is Penche Zulu, because he can play as a wide attacking midfielder as well, beside playing from a defensive position.
Cape Town City with 15 goals in the season so far, conceding just the 10. 21 points, will go up to 24 points with the 12 matches played. And the opportunity to score 30 before the halfway mark of the season, which is the target that Eric Tinkler set his side, is very much still in the offing if they can hold out and actually win this match today. They have a match against Platinum Stars next at home, and Platinum Stars really haven't done well in the last little while. They find themselves having been beaten by Free State Stars, who picked up their first victory, and well done to their Italian coach down there, winning by 3-1. So Platinum Stars in a bit of trouble. Yazan Kele, Mokakalori Ngele is one of those little terrific players. He's got a great deal of pace and he can score goals.
An excellent finisher.
Inside by Tabang Munare, cleared by Joseph Adjei. You can see what a big tall player Adjei is, and Bidvest Wits, although they have 65% of the early possession, found themselves behind by a goal to nil.
Just going back to Adjei, like I said earlier, he's actually been selected ahead of Gumete specifically to deal with the aerial strengths of Rogers, and I think you've already seen his ability. All the balls that gets played into the box, he's been able to deal with them. Obviously Robin Johannes as well, equally just as good in the air. So Rogers will need a little bit of support. Ngele is not playing as a top striker, he drifts. Maybe at some stage the coach will consider playing with two strikers just to try and minimize the defensive work of the two I've just mentioned.
Again, Ellis Palembe denied by Robin Johannes. Cleared away by Tato Mokeke. Eric Tinkler played his football at Bidvest Wits before moving overseas. Scored his only international goal against Malawi as a holding midfielder for South Africa. But just absolutely amazed by his mental fortitude and stature and the way he's grown as a player, I beg your pardon, as a coach and as a man over the last little while. You never stop growing in life, otherwise you go backwards. But I've been really quite impressed with what I've seen from Eric Tinkler in the last year.
And to think that eventually he found himself a place in the center of the middle as being a defensive midfielder. But let me tell you, when he played for for Wits University, as they were called then, he played as a left full back.
Tato Mokeke, yellow card for time wasting. Mr. Tendo Nzanzeka is being strict. I'm not sure whether there was anything deliberate about the wasting time. Manyama comes back and speaks to his fullback and says to him, look, okay, just you've got to suck that one up because there's nothing you can do about it, but just let's get the play back underway quickly. You know, it's difficult if players don't make themselves available and you're dilly-dallying on the touchline. And maybe the problem for Tato Mokeke was that he made no attempt to throw the ball in.
And you know, if you're going to make a throw from this position, you want to make sure at least it's to a well-positioned player. And with Bidvest trying to press this area, giving him just not too many options to find any free man to throw it to. That also, I think, was the other reason.
But Bidvest suddenly playing quite a high line at the moment. Gaka finds Palembe. It's quite an experienced right-wing combination here, Gaka and Palembe. Couldn't have played too many times before, that's for sure. Palembe being at Mamelodi Sundowns, and Gaka playing at the Amakosi Kaizer Chiefs on the southern side of the Yukske River. Monare controlling that midfield area. Here's Bongani Kumalo. Swazi national, just like my partner in crime tonight, Mr. William Shongwe.
But obviously the claim is that he was born in Southern, yes, but spent so little time there, and maybe his most years of growth were spent this side. That's why he was later considered South African. That's why he ended up with Bafana.
Now, there's a couple of players that have been naturalised South Africans. Greg Etafia never played for South Africa, but he's a naturalised South African these days. So, yeah, it's interesting how these things pan out. And Greg Etafia, if you're listening, well done for your victory today in the National First Division. That's Eleazar Rogers. You can see there, he's a tall man, certainly much taller than Tamsanqa Mkhize, but you don't have to be a tall player to play as a fullback. And certainly the cover from Cape Town City is there through Joseph Adjei and Robin Johannes. Adjei Ali across to Bongali Kamalo. Now got cut once again. Palembe trying to slip away from Mokeke. Strong challenge again from Robin Johannes. And there's no way through on that occasion from Ben Mochwari. You know, I think Ben Mochwari is quite an underrated player because, you know, when he plays with Ntangati, I think that little combination is tremendous for Wits.
They were unbelievable as young stars. They played at the center of defense, which initially might have been viewed as being risky by Gavin Hunt, but they later really became the mainstays of that Bidvest team.
Nice little turn from Dane Plate. He's somebody running off the ball. I'm expecting a little run from Wakukalodi Ngele. Didn't come now. Dane Plate's making all the work for himself. Palembe now. Gatka trying to go on the overlap. He has it in quickly, looking for the height of Dane Plate, which there isn't too much of, to be perfectly honest. Ngele should have been in that sort of position. Certainly Rogers as well. That's an obstruction, surely, from Aubrey and Gorman. I think given from the referee, and Eric Tinkler urges his side forward to counter-attack football. Tidied up by Bongani Kamala, and suddenly Bidvest Wits are looking much better organised in defence. Is it too late, though?
No, not at all. In fact, the challenge that Bidvest have right now is if they hold a high line, they're opening up for the speeding Goma. But if they sit, it means there's more space now for Cape Town City to play through the middle. Yeah, it was very intentional. Bangoma. It should have been picked up as a foul in favour of Bidvest.
Clear obstruction as far as that's concerned. Eric Tinkler waving his players to try and pressurise, because Bidvest Wits continue with that high line. Gatka again. Palembe with a little sliding ball. Rogers!
That's the threat he poses. It looked a harmless ball, but he rises way above the defender. The only thing maybe missing is that he didn't quite direct that header towards goal, or he didn't head it down as necessary as he should. He seems to hang on, maybe trying to take the sting out of the pressure of the ball instead of maybe applying a bit of pressure forward.
I'll tell you what, his hang time was admirable, but I think it was probably just at the end of the hang time when the ball reached him. Maybe a jump half a second too early, but wonderful stuff by Eleazar Rogers. You can see exactly why Eric Tinkler's brought Joseph Adjei into the centre of the defence. Puche, foul by Ben Mochwari. Seems like a tricky player, does the Austrian? Well, he's not only good at defending. Look at this one.
What a beauty. What a beauty. Great angle, obviously, to see it. He saw it coming all the way. And with Pench missing the header.
I'll tell you what, look at his golf swing. Almost looks like a right-handed player. But he stuck it with his left foot very nicely. So, yeah, quite a versatile little player is the Austrian.
To think that the goal you were referring to that he also took in that semi-final against Free State Stars, he took it with his right. Very effective with both feet. Incredible.
And that's the versatility that he'll add to that midfield. And if you can attack and defend with both left and right feet, wow, it does give you something of an advantage. It's the man we're talking about, Roland Puche. Played at Wolfsberger in Austria before making his way down to South Africa, and must be having a pretty good time. couple of foreigners that they've drafted into the side, Cape Town City. I see there's Reynolds Roda, who's a Latvian, who will be, I'm sure, happy to be in Cape Town, because at the moment winters come early to Latvia. They're expecting the coldest winter in 40 years. And last year they waited until Christmas, or just about between Christmas and New Year, for the first snow. The first snow this year came in early November. So snow about a metre deep, and -10 temperatures already back in his home countries. Reynolds Roda enjoying Cape Town in the sunshine of South Africa.
I'm a little bit concerned how you are so well informed about what's happening in that part of the world.
That's called research. No, it's not. I have a romantic interest in that country, so I do pay attention sometimes.
That's a little bit more honest from the men. I was getting very concerned to say, gee, how can a man get so much details about?
Even from a player that's not here.
Exactly.
Elias Rogers contributing from the midfield this time. Scooped away by Mokeke, who's having a nice little battle with Elias Palembe, but it's a polite one. Looking out of our commentary box window, I see the two players just shaking hands and enjoying the battle that's going on this near side of the field between Mokeke, the left-sided fullback, and Elias Domingos Palembe, Mozambican international, who's just looking to stay on side at the moment. But the ball poached away by Puche, the goal scorer. That's Leva Manyama. We haven't seen the best of him in front of goal yet, but his contribution in the middle of the park cannot be underestimated.
Not at all. In fact, the thing is about him, wherever he goes, he attracts attention, which means there'll be 2 or 3 players in that vicinity, but that leaves playing area for the other players to be able to operate.
Nice little pirouette from Manare. The hold up from the ball as well from Rogers, and Palembe was set free. Diving header away by Robin Johannes.
Spectacularly done as well.
There's life in the 30-year-old yet. Mokeke doesn't quite release the ball out towards the playmaker, and now Elias Palembe is caught offside and disputes it towards the near side assistant referee, Mr. Peter Rabapara.
It'll be nice to see just if he's straight. Because the question is not when he received the ball, it's when the ball was played, which could have been a very tight. But let's give the benefit of a doubt to an official who's done it in the past, and it's one of the legends of being the second assistant, Mr. Rabapara.
Yeah, I quite like Peter Rabapara's officiating. Talking about officiating, I see that Zakele Siwela, well-renowned international assistant referee, teaming up again with Daniel Bennett. They are off to AFCON Gabon 2017. Congratulations to those two boys. They do a wonderful job on the international stage. Zakele Siwela and Daniel Bennett, you're the man. Benchi Zulu. Diving header away by Joseph Adjei. Just like to take an opportunity. We have a colleague who is aged today, a little more than before. They call him Kamahelo in some places. We call him Kamza Mbata. Happy birthday, sir.
And you know what I tell us his age, by the way. That, I guess, is a very safe secret.
In comparison to us, he's a youngster.
Let's leave it at that.
Other news coming through from the African Cup of Nations, the Ladies Tournament, African Women's Cup of Nations. Ghana beating South Africa for the bronze medals earlier this afternoon. And although Ghana were playing with 9 players at one stage because of cramps, Ghana still beating South Africa by 1-0. Here's a good bit of play here for Tabang Manare. Sharp save from Shawa Walters. He looks organised, Tribe Walters. I was a bit worried about him in the early stages when he didn't come off his line for 2 crosses. But he seems to be okay here, Walters, at the moment. His team lead by 1-0. We're heading up towards half an hour played in Johannesburg.
A factor that maybe we've been spoken about for Cape Town City, yes, they've been on fire, playing at great tempo for every time that they've come to Joburg. But remember, in this case, they've been in the city for a few days. And some will say if you come maybe on the day or even the day before, you can survive the impact of the altitude. But if you tend to stay a few more days, that's when it creeps in, and you have to now maybe stay a week for it not to affect you. But they've just been caught in that very danger zone in as far as days. So let's see just how they react in the second.
Malembe gets a good feed from Ngele and just about picks up Elizor Rogers. Good piece of defending again from Robin Johannes, who's got his A game going today.
Under some pressure, Robin Johannes, he heads up ball for a corner. Under big threat from Rogers.
2 corners apiece. Oh, great save from Shoaib Walters. Raka nearly grabbing his first for his new club.
Jeez. Incredible reaction from the goalkeeper. There might have been some cover from Keke, but he was taking no chances. Shoaib Walters, great save.
Bit of a crowded penalty here. I don't know how late he saw that. Shoaib Walters, 34 years old. That's a great piece of goalkeeping. Palembo once again into the middle. This time there's no chance for Shoaib Walters. Fits up an equaliser, and it's Kamalo who grabs his first goal of the season. But that's Wits back in the game.
It's taken him some time as Kumalo to be able to make his presence felt. This is what he did on a regular basis for SuperSport United when he was still there. It's one of the reasons why Gavin Hunt brought him here, so that he can use his aerial presence here. It's the second time, obviously. The first time City dodged the bullet. This time around, air covers of space once again from Bongani. Attacks the ball brilliantly, connects with it with perfection. Great pace. Goalkeeper could do nothing after that.
Yeah, but that's poor defence really, because both Johannes and Adjei were caught ball watching. The movement of the ball forward from Kamala was absolutely brilliant, and he picked his spot and beat Walters, who just made a tremendous save to concede that corner. And Gavin Hunt will be a little happier than what he looks at the moment, but I think that's more determination as Wits immediately give away a corner. The scores are level at the Bidvest Stadium. 31 minutes played. Bidvest Wits 1, Cape Town City 1. Well, nobody got a touch on that one, and that's got an interesting corner kick. That's taken. It's just gone right through the penalty area of Bidvest Wits.
Masina, player that maybe had a better chance. He just, he just jumps and hangs. He doesn't attack the ball. He more like waits for the ball to hit him instead of maybe pushing his head a little bit forward. That was a moment once again for Bidvest, who I think also they didn't cover themselves with any form of glory defensively.
The ball was quite close to the 6-yard box, and Darren Keat also stayed on his line. We've had 7 goal attempts over the course of the night so far. 2 goals, 1 for either side. Only 1 shot on target for Cape Town City so far. It was a ripper from Roland Puche. No chance for Darren Keat. 67% possession for Bidvest Wits. They're absolutely dominating possession. We saw 65% of it earlier on.
What will be a big concern for Eric Tinkler, by the way, is the fact that in that game against Free State Stars, they conceded from a set piece. And once again here, it's a set piece. Clearly, there's quite a bit of work that he needs to do defensively in the way that they structure themselves to defend set pieces.
You're quite right, because against Kaizer Chiefs it is a set piece as well, according to Eric Tinkler. So, it's in fact, yeah, it might have been a set piece initially, but I think it was Katsvairo's goal that took a deflection in front of him. I think that's what he was referring to, that there's not much you can do about defending a goal, and it takes a deflection inside the penalty area. But yeah, as you say, set pieces, it's a static situation, and they were really caught by the good movement by Bongani Kamalo. William Sibi, who is our on-field presenter today, was saying to me before we came upstairs that he wants to see goals tonight. Well, half an hour played, he's got 2. Maybe it's a good omen for the game and for the viewers at home. Monare working hard in the midfield. Has got cut. Switch play from Bidvest Wits. Oh, lovely play from Dane Clayt. think Kize did brilliantly. Although he lost his balance, I think he just held enough of it to deny the captain of Bidvest Wits. Sim on the inside. Doesn't Kize once again. Sim gets away from Mkele. Just the balance and the flow from Cape Town City seems to have drifted apart a little. Players playing longer passes than I think maybe Eric Tinkler would have wanted, and what we saw in the beginning of the match.
As he did say, that he's a team that he wants to be able to control the game better with better ball position. They've got to be able to cycle the ball should the option to play forward not be available. He does want them to play a little bit on the front foot with counter attacks, but if it's not possible, he wants them to be able to do or to keep it a bit more.
Well, that's a rather curious looking clearance from Joy Walters. He got away with it as well. Because if that had fallen into the path of Rogers and Ngele, he might have had to do a spot of backpedaling. Puche finds Manyama. Manyama trying to work his way in behind Ben Mochwadi. Mochwadi's done well, but still, and Koma will be hungry. Good work by Nazir Ali. Poached away by Leva Manyama now. Matthew Sim, space in the area. Arriving late there was Massina once again. Now a chance for Elias Palembe to drift over towards the left-hand side. He doesn't normally play there. I think there was a little tickle from Mpomatsi. But just Dane Plate knew his business with Tamsanka and Kize. Kize's done well. He's a quality player, isn't he, Kize?
To think that he was let go by Maritzburg United and to see what he's been able to do, it's just you start to think, didn't they see this coming?
Ben Motswari, well, he's got no way really to go forward. He's been bottled up nicely by Matsi and Puche. Cut. That angle ball again, and Kele goes over the top.
Something a little bit unusual from Bidvest in how they fail to open up the wide areas with the mid-central midfield players getting stuck with the ball. You look for great outlets from the wide areas, particularly the full-backs. Now, this is how Mkhize did it. Was there a bit of a foul there? From this replay, it looks clean.
Yeah, very clean to me.
Mpomatsi, another great find for Black Aces 2 seasons back when they snatched him from Mataks and stayed with the movement, or should I say the transfer from Aces to Cape Town City, which means they kept quite a big chunk of the players that were featuring at Ajax, except for the defensive unit. That's why he struggled in this beginning of the season.
Free kick time for Cape Town City, looking to get back with it. Manyama now having to play as a defender because all the big boys have pushed forward. Opportunity for Ben Mochwadi. Mochwadi's gone past Robin Johannes. He's got support from Palembe, but he's deep rather. Palembe with the control. I thought he might have gone for goal directly as he misses out with Tabang Monare. But they still have possession here. Palembe, good work done by Mokeke. Transition play as it's Puche who picks up the attack from Bidvest Wits. Now to Bang Monare once again. Rogers. Not making any progress, are they? Bidvest Wits right now, but they just trying different angles all the while. Kize has to be watchful. So does Ali. Kat. Works it away from Aubrey Koma. Kat. Rogers looking for an opportunity. There's one at the back post. It's gone just wide. There might have been an offside, or is it a signal for a goal kick? And I think it's a goal kick, but wonderful work by Wits.
And Ngele attacks it. I think the defender was watching Mkhize. For some reason, I think he didn't have an idea who was creeping behind him.
Really good work by the Botswana international. Played at Platinum Stars for a long while. Popped up at Mamelodi Sundowns and has moved south of the Midrand area to Johannesburg. Playing under Gavin Hunt. as you said, he's an own goal scorer, but his contribution in the middle of the park, sometimes he comes in and out of matches. We've noticed that before too, and he can just burst into prominence when you most need him. Rogers. That's a foul on him, Kize, surely.
Yeah, he's one of those players that maybe will give you very little as far as involvement during the game or an open play, but he'll obviously come in moments where you least expect him and just sting you with a goal. And it's almost like he's just saving his energy to use it in those rare moments where there's an opportunity.
So 5 minutes remaining until we get to first half stoppage time at the Bidvest Stadium. It is in Johannesburg, this encounter. It's a beautiful, beautiful, perfect summer's evening in Johannesburg. Now Manyama, Adjei didn't quite get his body position the way he wanted it to, and Rogers will play as a sweeper. Toto Makeke looking for some switch play himself. Manyama allows the ball to drift over his head, and the run comes from Sibusiso Mazina. Manyama almost seems to be on the pass with every second touch, and Butche. Body position was quite nice. The ball goes over the crossbar though from the Austrian.
And this time with his right foot, which we mentioned, he can smack them with board. And except for that this time, he gets it over the bar. But it's those moments for me, what maybe is developing is the hunger to push now and then from the deeper midfield position to avail himself with an opportunity to engage the attacking midfield players, because he's got Bomate behind him who's more central and defensive. So he's sure that he's always got some cover behind him.
Katka is looking for a little bit of movement, doesn't really find it too much from the teammates around him. Butche will cover the move nicely in front of Tabang Monare. Palembe to Katka. The organisation in defence seems to be pretty strong, except for when the goal came for Kamalo in the Cape Town City camp. Katka, Palembe, nice little boot into it as well from Bobatsi. Really are struggling away for the ball here. Sim loses contact altogether. Monare back into the middle with Ben Motswari, and then switch play wide to Penchi Zulu. Motswari trying to work it back onto the right hand side, and look how much space Gatka suddenly finds himself with. It's a good ball inside again though. Robin Johannes is there. I think Robin Johannes might have been caught though by Nkele.
They look dangerous, Bidvest, when they spray this ball into the wide areas. That's why they work it around the center, then look for the right moment to spray it wide. And once the delivery comes from the wide areas, they force the defensive unit to face goal, and it's the most difficult ball to defend.
Michael Morton is in the house. Former South African international playing at SuperSport United. Having a second look at Bidvest Wits after having beaten Bidvest Wits by 2-0 a couple of days ago. Foul on Butche. And this is within the range of a couple of plays. Sim could have a crack, and Manyama could have a crack. Got a couple of left-footed plays there as well in O'Brien Korma, maybe even the fullback. Although I don't think Toto Makeke would have a grab at this. Certainly Butche, I think, could be instrumental. Though Butche's placed himself inside of the Bidvest Wits penalty area, so one has to look at Manyama and Sim, one left-footed, one right-footed player. Potentially Sim to dig this one. No, he's left it. Manyama over the wall. Rogers is the closest man to it for Bidvest Wits. So you want a tall man at the back, and they have one. 1 minute remaining before we get to first half stoppage time in Johannesburg. It's turning into quite a tactical little affair right now. We hear that 1 minute of time is going to be added on to the end of the first half, so just less than 2 minutes remaining before we get to the 15-minute break between the two sides. And Keys under pressure once again from Nkele. does well. And eventually knocks the ball into Clayton. Clayton a bit frustrated with himself because he thought he'd been able to take the pace out of the ball. Thinking man's game out there, and Dane Clayton really does think a lot about his football. Kize nicely inside to Adjei. Into stoppage time at the Bidvest Stadium in Johannesburg. Scores level at 1-1. Puche left in too much space. Kamalo created an equal amount of great space when he grabbed the equaliser. So, yeah, both defences maybe just offering a little bit to the opposition, and the opposition was able to grab it, which is great. So the easy pickings for Shuaib Walters.
But you got to maybe admit that, except on a rare moments in occasion, we've been seen really a lot of open chances, and take it into account that these are two teams that are technically improving with every game that they play. Gavin Hunt, we know when it comes to setting up his stall defensively, he can do very well. City has struggled in this beginning part of the season. To think that they're on top of the low, having considered 10, says a lot about their ability to go forward.
Yeah, it certainly does. So on the brink of half-time, and I think that's exactly what the signal is from referee Tando Nzanzeka. Just the one yellow card from him for Mokeke during the first half for delaying the ball being thrown into the field of play. But a really quite a tactical first half and some good entertainment as well. Puche with a goal for Cape Town City with space on the right-hand side. A crisp left-footed volley past Darren Keat. And then space offered by the two centre-backs of Cape Town City from a corner. And Bongani Kamala, the centre-back, with a header that beat Shuaib Walters for the equaliser on just 31 minutes. So we've had goals in Johannesburg. We're bound to have more during the second half. Join us for that in a few moments.